When I see clients, it's very rare that they ever have one thing going on. Often, when I'll see clients, they'll say, "Oh, where do I begin?" And I think what they mean by that is that they have so many different categories and so many things going on inside their mind over the course of time that have all kind of, combined together and come together and almost in a funnel effect cause like a clog, and they don't know where to begin, and it's incredibly overwhelming. So one of the first things that I actually do, one of the first exercises, either in our first session or after our first session, is I get the client to do a mind map. And it's a really fantastic way of just breaking apart and categorizing all the different things that you have inside your mind. So the way it kind of works is this: taking the time, getting a piece of paper, and just, it's kind of spider diagram of put yourself in the middle and have all these different branches coming out, all these different categories of everything that's on your mind, that's swirling around in your mind. So having these different categories come off. So there might be a category that's like work or friends or family or my partner. And you have all these different categories all kind of coming off here. And then you want to add further detail to them. So you might pick, for example, family, and then that family category might have mum and dad, and then mum might have, another branch coming off. It might be emotionally unavailable, doesn't really make effort with my children. Dad might have, always very judgmental. And you sort of go into detail and you put everything that's on your mind onto the paper, and you sort of categorize it, you sort of, compartmentalize all of it and put it all together. Now, when it's all there, that already is a very cathartic process to do. I've had clients before say, I've had 50% of the pressure just alleviated just by writing it out and mapping it out like that, because you can see all the problems there, and they no longer are swirling around in your mind. They are just there, all mapped out. And it might take a bit of time. You might need to do it over the course of a few days, but you want to stop once you feel like everything in your mind is mapped out on that paper. And that's the first part, which is really cathartic. And then the second part is journaling. So this is where we start to look at all these different categories that we've mapped out. I want to pick something that's particularly easy, something we think, okay, I can manage that, I can write about that, I'm willing to sort of begin and confront that. So it might be, for example, work, and we might think, okay, well, there was that thing that my boss said to me, or that person at work said to me that kind of, upset me. And so we want to map out that event. I want to start by basically going, okay, write it out, from beginning to end. What happened? Thinking about, like, how did it make me feel? How did it affect me at the time? And now we're kind of reflecting, how does it make me feel now I'm looking at that? How does it still affect me, that event? What did I learn from that event? And we want to map this entire event out from beginning to end, all in detail. And it doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be incredible or anything like that. It can be crude, it can be rude. It's your writing. No one's going to read it. I've had clients, once they finished it, rip it up or burn it, or just take the book and close it and put it away in a drawer. It doesn't matter. Nobody's going to read that. It's just a fantastic opportunity for you to take everything that's inside your mind and just have it spill it out onto the page, so it no longer lives inside you. It's a very cathartic process. And I mean that because there's a real science to it, because in order to actually journal, we have to write. And in order to have to write, we have to think about what it is we're writing. So those emotions that are otherwise swirling inside of our brain have to be written down, or it has to go through a logical filter to be written down. And that's when we start to look at those words on the page, and it can be quite shocking at times and surprise us and think, wow, that's kind of deep, or that's kind of, that really affected me there, didn't it? And it gets us to a stage where we can experience ourselves outside of our chaotic minds. And it's a really, really powerful tool. And often I'll work with clients after they've journaled a particular incident, and we talk about what's come up for them and how it made them feel. So it's a really powerful tool. Give it a go. Mind mapping and journaling as well, incredibly powerful tool. And it basically means that we can be the author of our own experience again. So go out, be the author of your own experience. And again, let me know how this works for you. Okay? Take care, guys.